channel. I'm back to break down this 7-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into the breakdown, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these MLB DFS slates to help you guys become better MLB DFS players, help you guys win some money night in and night out, slate in and slate out. So excited to get into the breakdown again today. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And if you are interested in some further premium content from me, I do offer a premium package. Just link below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use in building my own MLB DFS lineups. Things like my starting pitcher data sheet, high hitter stack data, splits data board, team hitting data, bullpen data, my power rankings, and my cheat sheet. So go ahead and check that out if you are interested. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. As always, let's go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Josiah Gray, taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Comes in with a 37.1% K overall, 21.2% swing strike rate, 38.1% K rate against righties, and a 35.7% K rate against lefties. Keep in mind, this is only an 8 innings pitch sample size, so honestly, this data isn't exactly the most reliable. And when you're factoring in his pitch count and all that stuff, he's been right up around 80 pitches, so we haven't seen him really go too deep in the ball games. For that reason, I'm not exactly sure how much interest we can have in him, but he is debuting for his new team in the Washington Nationals, no longer on the Dodgers. So we might see that he has a longer stretch, longer leash here. I tend to think that might be the case. Like they want this guy to come in and really perform for them for the trade that they required him from. So 80 pitches each game, 6 and 7 Ks. That's really impressive stuff. So definitely someone to keep an eye on for sure. It might be someone that, as I'm digging in the pitch data and stuff, I do have some interest in. And it's supposed to have a lot of talent, so definitely an intriguing option. Andrew Heaney taking on the Baltimore Orioles, a 28.2% K overall, 13.1 swinging strike rate, 31.4% K rate against righties, and a 19.8% K rate against lefties. He has really struggled against lefties. He has really struggled against righties too, to be honest, and the K rate has been down, making his debut for the New York Yankees. He is a 245 favorite. As in Yankee Stadium, which is a little bit less than ideal from a pitching environment aspect, there is a very friendly hitting environment ballpark as far as home runs, but he's taking on Baltimore Orioles team tonight. That's really not the greatest, so I do think he has plenty of K upside. He is a heavy favorite. He's definitely expected to get the win tonight, and of course that does always help your case when you're picking your starting pitching. You want them to get that win in your daily fantasy sports lineup. So Andrew Heaney is going to be an intriguing option. Tyler Magle taking on the Miami Marlins, definitely a ideal matchup. A 27.1% K overall, 11% swinging strike rate, 29.3% K rate against righties, and a 24.2% K rate against lefties. So he has been very good, specifically against righties. Very high K rate, so we do prefer to target him against very right-handed heavy lineups, if at all possible. And then when you're looking at the Miami Marlins lineup tonight, it is definitely very right-handed heavy. They are only expected to have 2 lefties in the lineup. It's in Miami, which is a tremendous pitching ballpark. You could argue the best pitching ballpark in the league. The confines, the ball doesn't really carry. The dimensions are not friendly to hitters. So I love targeting pitchers here. I love this spot for Tyler Magle, and I think he's going to be a great option tonight. He's 8.5 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, they have him priced all the way up to 9.6. So even friendlier price tag over there on FanDuel for sure. And on DraftKings, I still think he's in play. It's going to be a lot easier to click the button on FanDuel, but depending upon how confident you feel in all of the pitching options as a whole, Magle definitely in an ideal matchup, definitely has a ton of upside. Ranger Suarez taking on the Washington Nationals, a 26.6% K overall, 11.2 swinging strike rate. The ground ball, fly ball stuff has been very good to both sides. He has a 26% K rate to righties and a 27.8% K rate to lefties over a 40 innings pitch sample size. It's very impressive stuff so far in the season. He's taking on a Washington Nationals team tonight that's definitely not as strong as a matchup as it once was, or I'm sorry, as strong of a lineup as it once was. And there are 6 mile-an-hour winds blowing in. Washington Nationals ballpark is a good a good hitting environment, which is a little bit unfortunate. But when you're looking at Suarez's stuff, as I said, he has been good. The problem is he's a relief pitcher and he doesn't really have a long leash. So as far as actually playing him as a pitcher, probably you definitely can't play him, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind. But as far as stacking the Nationals, that might be something that we could pay attention to because we probably don't want to. So the point being, we still want to break down these pitchers and hitters and all that stuff. So long story short, not someone I want to target on either side, really. Dane Dunning taking on the Los Angeles Angels, a 23.4% K overall, 10.5 swinging strike rate. Ground ball, fly ball stuff has been good. He has a 23.3% K rate against righties and a 23.6% K rate against lefties. Definitely and pretty solid across the board. The K rate's not the highest in the world, but 23% is definitely not too bad. And when you're factoring in the matchup here, taking on this Los Angeles Angels team tonight, they've been striking out a bunch on the season. Their lineup continues to have a pretty high K rate, so I definitely think that he's an intriguing option. The only thing that you're really dealing with is pitch count. And when you're looking at his last few games, you can see he does really typically top out in like mid 70s to 80 pitches, which is a problem. I just don't like targeting starting pitchers that are going to be limited in pitch count. I want guys that are going to go deep into games, and they can provide me the most upside on the slate. Because if I play a guy like Nate Dunning, he goes out there and has a great game, but the other guy has a great game as well, and he's dealing with another like 30 pitches. That's a possibility of, I don't even know how many more strikeouts, up to, I mean, let's be reasonable, but 5 strikeouts more. You could have a lot more, but I just don't like targeting that. Eric Lauer taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates, 23.4% K overall, a 24.8% K rate against righties, and a 19.4% K rate against lefties. Really not getting all too excited to play him. He does get a great matchup taking on this Pittsburgh team that really does not scare us. And while his strikeout rate isn't the highest, this team just doesn't scare us. So he could definitely go deep in this game. The only issue you're dealing with is a pitch count thing. Let's see. So I don't know why he left the game so early last time out. He was up to like 89, 90 pitches. It says he left the game in line for the win, and it just blew up. But it doesn't exactly say why he left early. So anyways, he has been all the way up to like 97, 90 pitches or so. I do think he's going to be more so around that range in this game. He could definitely be a good option for you. He's all the way up to 9K on DraftKings, though, and he's only 7.5 on FanDuel. So a much friendlier price tag on FanDuel for sure. Desclafani's a guy that really struggles against left-handed hitting. It's always been that case with him. Very good against righties, lefties. He can struggle a lot. Has been pretty good on the season overall, though. The strikeout rate's good to both sides, and the Arizona Diamondbacks lineup does not scare us. They only have a 4 implied run total. Definitely think he could be an interesting option as far as playing on your pitcher spot today. And then once we get past him, honestly, I'm really not too interested in anything. We have Jesus Luzardo making his debut for the Mets. As far as his stuff, he's been down in. I'm sorry, not the Mets, the Marlins. I don't know why I said the Mets, but he's been struggling with a 6.87 ERA across 38 innings in Oakland. So, I mean, he's not exactly been performing, obviously. He's supposed to be a really good guy. He was really good in the league for quite some time. He's taking on the New York Mets and has really, really struggled against right-handed hitting, against left-handed hitting. We're dealing with 38 innings pitch sample size, giving up a lot of slugging. So, honestly, I'm not interested there. And let's go ahead and start. With that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. So as always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet based Sierra, skill at our active ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in the season and how good they're expected to be in the future. And the worst on the slate is going to be Bryce Wilson taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. He's been absolutely terrible. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. K rate stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff's terrible. He gets about 500 slugging to righties and a 565 slugging to lefties. That is not going to get the job done, and for that reason, we're definitely interested in the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers have been red hot. This game is going to be played in Milwaukee, and got to have interest in all these guys. Colton Wong, Willy Adames, Omar Narvaez, Eduardo Escobar, Rowdy Tellez, Avisail Garcia, Tyrone Taylor, Jackie Bradley. My least favorite would be Jackie Bradley in the 8th spot, just because he's not exactly the most elite hitter, but with that being said, I literally think that Jackie Bradley Jr. could go deep tonight because Bryce Wilson's that bad, so definitely have interest in targeting all the way down. And then keep in mind, he's even worse against lefties. And if you pull up the diagram here that I always like to show you guys as far as ballparks, I know that Milwaukee's a great ballpark to target left-handed hitters in. You can see down the right field line, it plays very friendly to lefties that are pulling the ball. So, those guys with power like Rowdy Tellez, Omar Narvaez are going to be in a great position to go deep tonight. Colton Wong. And then Eduardo Escobar, and you have all those righties as well. Bryce Wilson, not good. The Pittsburgh bullpen, not good. Definitely a great spot. Tyler Widener taking on the San Francisco Giants, another guy that has been terrible. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff's terrible. He gives up a 420 slug in the righties, a 520 slug in the lefties. Just bad. I keep saying terrible, but I mean, come on. The guy across the board, look at his numbers on the chart here as far as my color-coded data sheet, and it's very clear. So Lamonte Wade, Chris Bryant, Mike Yastrzemski. Then you factor in the fact that it's in Arizona, similar to what we just talked about in Milwaukee. Very friendly down the right field line to left-handed hitters. Love targeting them, and honestly, very friendly all over the place. Big ballpark upgrade for this Giants offense, and you gotta love them. Lamonte Wade, Chris Bryant, Mike Yastrzemski, Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, Darren Ruff, Steven Duger, Donovan Solano. Great stuff. Getting even better with the addition of Chris Bryant. and it's starting to get healthy with Wade and Yastrzemski expected to be back in the lineup. Buster Posey, they've been dealing with some injuries here and there. Giants lineup's definitely looking very good. Chris Flexen taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. He's a guy that's been really struggling, more so to right-handed hitting. A bit reverse splitsy in that sense. He doesn't really walk anyone. He gives up a 443 slugging to the righties, only a 385 slugging to lefties. So we do prefer to target him with right-handed power, and the Tampa Bay Rays definitely do have some right-handed power. They have a 4.68 implied run total. It's in Tampa Bay, which is not the best hitting environment, unfortunately. But when you have guys like Nelson Cruz and Randy Arozarena in the center of your order, and we're dealing with a guy with reverse splits, I do think that they're going to be great options today, of course. You can definitely stack up the whole team and go with the lefties as well. Just keep in mind, we do greatly prefer the righties. So that's just the case. When it comes to flex and stuff, could the lefties get to him? Yes, he's not that good of a pitcher. He's also not that bad of a pitcher, though, so just keep that in mind. Jorge Lopez taking on the New York Yankees. Ground ball, fly ball stuff hasn't been completely terrible, but this is a guy we know for quite some time has struggled. A 41 slugging up to righties, a 494 slugging up to lefties. He is notorious for giving up quite a few home runs. And specifically against lefties, he's been pretty bad, but righties, it's not like he's too much better. And the Yankees have a huge implied run total. They have a brand new lineup, so to speak, with the big two acquisitions of Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo. I believe this is the first time they've been on the slate that I've been breaking it down, and they are in a great matchup. A 79-degree temperature here in Yankee Stadium tonight, 6-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right field. Pretty good stuff going on as far as the hitting environment. Of course, the Yankee Stadium, great for home runs, so that's going to help our case as well. Green across the board at Yankee Stadium. And, you got that short right-handed porch. Going to love Anthony Rizzo, Joey Gallo in their first games at home. You got DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Gleyber Torres, Rougned Odor, Gary Sanchez. Just absolutely loaded lineup as far as fantasy upside and power. And Brett Gardner in the 9 spots. So definitely think they're going to be good. And then keep in mind the Baltimore Orioles bullpen is also very bad. So I always like to target that. Eric Lauer, we mentioned taking on Pittsburgh. He really struggles against right-hand power. The Pittsburgh lineup's just really not good enough to capitalize on it, unfortunately. But sure, you could play. Keep Brian Hayes in the 2 spot and Brian Reynolds in the 3 spot are definitely great options. Kevin Newman at the top's not bad at all. Jacob Stallings, but once you get down past them, it's really not that great. But those guys at the top definitely could be intriguing one-off plays that'll have low ownership. We had mentioned Jesus Luzardo and his struggles. 583 slugging given up to righties, really not good. A 475 slugging given up to lefties, taking on a New York Mets squad tonight. Unfortunately, it's in Miami, which is less than ideal from a hitting environment. Also, we're getting conflicting reports that it could be Jordan Holloway that's starting. So, typically speaking, I'm usually right on these, but it can, that can be changed throughout the day. So, just keep in mind it could be either of these guys. If it's Holloway, it's going to be a lot less of an ideal matchup. They both really haven't been that good. I don't think so. I don't want to even say that. I think that the Mets stack could be viable. Just keep in mind the ballpark sucks. Like, there's a lot better hitting environments. Honestly, every other ballpark on this slate is a pretty good hitting environment outside of Tampa Bay and Miami. So it's going to be kind of hard to be targeting this offense. But you can go there if you want. Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Javi Baez, Dominic Smith, Brandon Drury, Michael Conforto. Great lineup, just not the best ballpark. So that's where my interest is kind of limited. Texas taking on Jose Suarez. He really has struggled more so against left-handed hitting, ironically. A 600 slugging up to those lefties. Righties, he's been really good all year. And the Rangers really don't have many lefties to take advantage of that with it, outside of Nate Lowe and David Dahl. And don't exactly have the best slugging numbers against lefties. So, less than ideal. You definitely could go there if you'd like to. Michael Wacha taking on Seattle, a reverse splitsy pitcher as well. He really struggles against right-handed hitting. A 533 slugging, giving up 49.2% hard contact rate. So the Seattle righties could be intriguing options that could be low-owned. Mitch Haniger, Ty France, that's really it at the top of the order, similar to the Pittsburgh. Maybe a couple of one-offs there for you. Also in Tampa Bay, not a good hitting environment we had mentioned. Escafani taking on Arizona. We really want to target him left-handed power. If you want to go to the Diamondbacks lefties, you definitely can. Josh Van Meter, Ketel Marte, Cole Calhoun, David Peralta, Dalton Varsho. That's who I'd be looking to there if you want to stack them up. Dane Tony taking on the Angels. I'm really not all too interested in the Angels. And then we do have Andrew Heaney and Josiah Gray, sorry pronouncing, but both those guys give quite a bit of hard contact as well. So Baltimore and Philly. I don't hate stacking up Baltimore against Heaney. I like playing Heaney. I like the stack. One way or another has to give, obviously. But the Orioles do have some right-handed power that can really break off lefties. Austin Hayes, Trey Mancini, Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santana, Ramon Urias, Pedro Severino, Maikel Franco, Patrick Felica. All those guys designed to hit lefties pretty well, so it makes sense. And then, as mentioned, if you want to target Jose Gray, you can too. I mean, the kid's supposed to be pretty good, but yeah, that is my overall breakdown here. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Mike Yastrzemski taking on Taylor Widener in Arizona. We had mentioned big ballpark upgrade for the San Francisco Giants bats, and specifically against left-handed hitting, Taylor Widener has really struggled. A .520 slug, giving up 45.5% hard contact rate, only a 31.5% ground ball rate with a 23.8% K rate. Not going to get the job done. Friendly confines here in the Arizona Diamondbacks ballpark, and looking at what he's relying on, goes to the fastball a tremendous amount of the time. 61% of the time he'll go to lefties. 67% of the time he throws that fastball to left-handed hitters. So, I mean, to right-handed hitters, I apologize, and that's going to be good news for Mike Yastrzemski because he has a 412 ISO with a 425 wOBA against that pitch. Love this spot for Mike Yastrzemski. Tons of pop, big ballpark upgrade for him. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Mike Yastrzemski. Get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight. And we will see you in the next one.